Right, guys. Aston Villa have just lost at home to Leicester City. 2-1. The goals coming from James Maddison and Harvey Barnes. Villa's consolation in the second half came from Bertrand Traore. And I think there was one player, well, two players maybe, that were particularly poor for Villa today. The first being Ahmed El Mohammadi. I felt he was completely out of position for both for the first two, both of Leicester's goals. Um, when for the first one, am I German now? For the first one, it was a ball over the top by Yuri Tielemans. It was a nice ball. Jamie Vardy's gone up to header it. Ezri Konsa got there first, but he didn't get the best contact on it. And it's fallen to Harvey Barnes. Now, El Mohammadi is run in behind Konsa, so he's not really doing anything. He's just made it so that Harvey Barnes has got all the space in the world on the left-hand side. And it falls to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes lays it off to James Maddison, and James Maddison just rolls it into the far corner. And I felt Martinez maybe should have done a bit better with it. He managed to get a hand to it, but he only managed to tip it onto the inside of the post. So he could have done a bit better there, I felt. But he's been world class for Villa this season, hasn't he? So I don't think they'll be too unhappy with him. And then about 10 minutes later, around the half an hour mark, Harvey Barnes scored. Trying to remember what the goal was like now. Right, so the ball's played into Barnes. Barnes hasn't really controlled it well, but it falls to, it was either Vardy or Maddison, and one of them's had a shot. And El Mohammadi should follow Harvey Barnes after he's closed him down, stay with your man. But Martinez spills the shot. He could have held on to it, I felt. But it wasn't the worst mistake in the world. And that's left to Harvey Barnes free with a fairly simple finish. He just asks to whack it into the roof of the net. And that gave Leicester a 2-goal lead going into the second half. But that 2-goal lead didn't last long in the second half. About 2-3 minutes in, Matt Targett's roaming down the left-hand side. He makes a nice 1-2 with Anwar El Ghazi. And Matt Targett crosses it in. And the ball is, Ollie Watkins has gone for it. He hasn't quite got a touch on it. And it's fallen in the 6-yard box for Bertrand Traore. He sort of gets his foot stuck in the ground. So he has to full on jump with his left foot at it. And Kasper Schmeichel, I thought, did a bit of a David De Gea against Everton. He sort of pussied out of it, I felt. I mean, obviously we know he's a good goalkeeper because he showed it for the last, 5-6 years that Leicester have been in the Premier League. Jesus, it's 7 years now Leicester have been in the Premier League. Doesn't feel that long, does it? 6 years since Claudio Ranieri was, well, that season started. It's only 5 years since he actually lifted it, isn't it? But still, time goes by, doesn't it? And yeah, and Schmeichel was complaining about it, how Bertrand Traore sort of jumped in. He's got to go for the ball. I don't get it. You're the one who's in the wrong here. You haven't gone for it. He's not going to hit you because his studs aren't facing you. The most you'll get is a little kick on the waist, which, I mean, he got the ball, so your fault, really. Schmeichel definitely should have done better with that. And for the rest of the half, I expected Villa to go for it a bit more. But Maddison got injured for Leicester and had to go off, which ain't great. It seemed to be a hip injury of some sort. And I mean, that gives us no clue on what time he could be out for, or if any, because it could just be sort of like a simple bruise or something. And I felt Villa should have gone for it more. I know, obviously, Jack Grealish weren't playing today. It was only revealed this morning or yesterday afternoon that he was injured, which is a bit of a shame. And I think with the amount of English talent that was on the pitch today. There are a few players that haven't really been in the squad recently, who you have to ask questions of whether they should go. Obviously, Jamie Vardy's retired from international football, but there's players like Matt Targett who I think would be a very good left back. Like Ben Chilwell hasn't showed much for Chelsea. He had a good month in like October or something like that, October or November, but he hasn't shown much since, has he? Luke Shaw for me has got to be the number one left back the way he's played this season. He's been absolutely superb for Man United. But I think Matt Targett's in with a shout for that backup left back option. I mean, only if Andy Robertson was English, eh? Well, I mean, the way he defended yesterday, not so sure that would be a good idea. But, I mean, he is top class, isn't he, Robertson? But unfortunately, he is Scottish, not English, so he will be playing against England at the Euros. And another player who we seriously have to ask questions about whether they should get into the England squad is Harvey Barnes. I'm not sure if he has played for England yet. I don't think he has. And the way he's playing this season would suggest that he's got to, really, hasn't he? I think. But who would you take out for him is the real question. I mean, Saka's having a very good season. Smith Rowe's having a good season, but I don't think he's England ready just yet. I mean, he's only been going for a few months, hasn't he, really, at this form. Curtis Jones, I like him as a player, but he's only got into the Liverpool team this year, really, hasn't he? Whereas Saka's done it last season and this year. Same with Harvey Barnes. So, yeah, Gareth Southgate's got a few decisions to make, hasn't he, really? And anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.